Imagine this, a world where the rules are clear, where good people are rewarded, where honesty and hard work guarantee success. It sounds fair, doesn't it? That's the story you've been told since childhood. Parents, teachers, even religion reinforce this idea, that life operates on justice, that good deeds lead to good outcomes, and that fairness is the foundation of society. But pause for a moment. Look around you. Who really holds the power? Who leads countries, builds empires, and dominates corporations? Is it the most ethical, the most moral, the most selfless? Or is it those who know how to bend the rules, those who manipulate others, those who take what they want without waiting for permission? The uncomfortable truth is this: the world doesn't run on fairness, it runs on power. And power rarely rewards the most virtuous. Instead, it rewards those willing to go further, to risk more, to use strategy and sometimes even ruthlessness to shape reality in their favor. Friedrich Nietzsche called this the will to power, the raw drive to impose one's vision on the world. He argued that morality itself, the idea of right and wrong, good and evil, was not a universal truth, but a story created to control the majority. A story that keeps the weak obedient while the powerful break the rules, rewrite them, and dominate. And once you recognize this, you start to see it everywhere. History isn't written by the most just, it's written by the most relentless. Rome didn't rise to power because it was fair. The United States didn't become a superpower because it was kind. And today, corporations like Amazon or Google didn't crush competition by being charitable. The greatest names in history, the conquerors, the innovators, the leaders, were rarely the most moral. They were the most strategic. This is Nietzsche's dark truth, that society's promise of justice and fairness is a comfortable illusion, a lie that keeps most people waiting, hoping, and working quietly in the background, while a small minority takes control of the game. And here's the disturbing part. If you never wake up to this truth, you'll spend your entire life believing in rules that were never designed for your benefit. So the question is simple. Will you keep living by the illusion, or are you ready to see the world for what it truly is? Because once you see it, there's no going back. From the moment you could walk, you were told a story that if you study hard in school, if you respect the rules, if you work with honesty and dedication, life will eventually reward you. It's the story of meritocracy, the idea that effort, virtue, and fairness guarantee success. But let's put that story under the microscope. Look at the world around you. Does it really reflect reality? Who ends up at the top, the kindest person in the room, or the most cunning? The one who sacrifices for others, or the one who knows how to manipulate others for their own gain? The truth is, meritocracy is not a universal law. It's an illusion, a carefully designed narrative that keeps people obedient. It convinces the majority to keep working quietly, hoping that one day their patience and sacrifice will be recognized. But that recognition rarely comes. Instead, while the good people wait for their turn, others are seizing opportunities, rewriting the rules, and taking power for themselves. Nietzsche saw through this illusion. He argued that morality, this system that praises humility, obedience, and self-sacrifice, isn't about justice at all. It's a mechanism, a tool used to keep the strong in check and the weak in line. By teaching people to believe in fairness, society prevents them from questioning why the ruthless always seem to rise higher. Look at history. Did Rome expand because it played fair? No, it expanded because it crushed entire civilizations, enslaved nations, and imposed its will without hesitation. Did the United States become a global superpower by being ethical? Or did it rise through wars, economic domination, and relentless expansion? Even in today's corporate world, the same illusion persists. The hard-working employee, loyal and diligent, often remains stuck in the same position for years. Meanwhile, the person who plays politics, takes credit for others' work, and knows how to manipulate perceptions is the one who climbs the ladder. Companies like Amazon, Apple, or Google didn't dominate industries because they were charitable. They dominated because they played aggressively, cutting down competitors, manipulating markets, and expanding at all costs. And here's the harsh truth Nietzsche forces us to confront. The system was never broken. It was designed to work this way. The idea that fairness rules the world is the greatest lie ever sold. Because the real engine of history is not justice, it's power. And power belongs not to those who wait for recognition, but to those who take it before anyone else even realizes what's happening. If the illusion of fairness is the story we're told, then morality is the script that keeps us playing our roles. Nietzsche broke this script down into two very different systems: slave morality and master morality. Slave morality is the morality you already know. It's the one society has fed you since childhood. It tells you that humility is a virtue, that obedience is noble, that sacrifice makes you good. It whispers that ambition is arrogance, that striving for greatness is dangerous, and that challenging the system is immoral. In short, it teaches you to lower yourself, to feel guilty for wanting more, to equate strength with sin. But Nietzsche didn't see this as some universal truth. He saw it for what it really was, a tool of control. Slave morality was invented by the powerless as a defense mechanism. Unable to dominate the strong, the weak created values that glorified submission and demonized power. They turned weakness into virtue and strength into vice. That way they could restrain those who had the will to rise above them. On the other side stands master morality. This is the morality of those who refuse to be contained, the conquerors, the creators, the leaders who don't wait for permission. For them, ambition is not shameful, it's fuel. Power is not evil, it's natural. Master morality is about affirming life, about saying yes to greatness, yes to expansion, yes to becoming more than what you are. History makes this distinction painfully clear. Julius Caesar did not rise by following the morality of submission. He shattered the rules of the Roman Senate and imposed his own vision of empire. Napoleon was not celebrated because he was humble. He was feared and remembered because he seized power without hesitation. Steve Jobs did not become a legend by playing nice with his competitors. He rewrote the rules of technology and imposed his vision on an entire industry. And here lies the paradox. Those who live by slave morality are praised as good, but they remain trapped in mediocrity. Those who follow master morality are condemned as arrogant or dangerous, yet they are the ones who shape history. Nietzsche's warning is sharp. If you accept slave morality without question, you will live your life as a pawn, controlled by narratives designed to keep you in your place. But if you dare to embrace master morality, you take the risk of being feared, hated, even destroyed. And yet, it is only through this path that true greatness can be achieved. So the question becomes, which morality do you follow? The one that keeps you safe and small, or the one that demands you rise and claim your power? If Nietzsche's ideas sound abstract, all you need to do is look at history to see them come alive. The illusion of fairness, the struggle between slave morality and master morality, they're not theories. They're the forces that have shaped every empire, every nation, and every industry in existence. Take Rome. We often hear about its legacy of law, order, and civilization. But Rome didn't become the most powerful empire of the ancient world by being fair or merciful. It rose because it crushed opposition without hesitation. Entire civilizations were burned, cultures erased, enemies enslaved. The Pax Romana, the Roman peace, was not built on kindness, but on dominance. Behind the image of culture and progress was raw, unapologetic conquest. Move forward in time and look at the United States. Its rise to superpower status is often dressed in the language of freedom and democracy, but its power was built on wars of expansion, exploitation of resources, and economic domination. Military might, not fairness, cemented its place at the top of the global hierarchy. The same pattern repeats in the corporate world. Think of Amazon. It didn't become the world's retail giant by playing fair. It became powerful by relentlessly undercutting competitors, expanding aggressively, and using its dominance to suffocate smaller businesses. Google didn't become the global gatekeeper of information by being generous. It did so by absorbing competitors, controlling data, and shaping how billions of people see the world. Apple didn't redefine technology by politely asking for its place. It imposed its vision, locked out rivals, and created a walled garden so powerful that customers became loyal beyond reason. And here's the terrifying truth. These are not exceptions. This is how the system is designed to function. French philosopher Michel Foucault observed that power is never distributed fairly. It is always concentrated, protected, and expanded by those who already have it. The strong protect their strength, and the weak are convinced that the system is just, so they never rise against it. Nietzsche saw morality itself as part of this system of control. Slave morality glorifies humility and obedience, ensuring that the majority remain compliant. Master morality fuels the ambitions of those who reject this illusion and impose their will on the world. And history shows us over and over again who ends up writing the story, not the humble, but the relentless. But what makes this even darker is that the system isn't broken. It is working exactly as it was meant to. The idea of justice, the story of meritocracy, the promise that good people will win, all of it is a narrative designed to keep you waiting, hoping, and playing by rules that were never written for your benefit. And so the same cycle repeats, century after century. While the obedient wait for recognition, others take it. While some believe in the rules, others break them. While many spend their lives complaining about injustice, a few turn that injustice into fuel for domination. This is the brutal reality Nietzsche wanted us to see. History has never been shaped by the most just, but by the most relentless. And unless you see through the illusion, you'll spend your life on the sidelines of a game that others are playing to win. If there is one idea that defines Nietzsche's philosophy, it is this: the will to power. For Nietzsche, the driving force of all life, whether in nature, politics, art, or business, was not morality, not happiness, not harmony, but the raw, unstoppable impulse to grow, to dominate, and to impose one's will on the world. Think about it. A lion does not hunt for fairness. It hunts to expand its territory, to prove its dominance, to survive and to rule. Trees do not politely stop growing. When they meet resistance, they twist, break, and push through stone to reach the sun. Every living being, from the smallest cell to the greatest empire, operates under this fundamental law: to expand or to die. Nietzsche argued that the same force governs human beings. The politician who manipulates to stay in power, the CEO who crushes competitors to expand their company, the artist who breaks conventions to impose a new vision on the world, all are expressions of the same principle: the will to power. But here is the tragedy. Most people are conditioned from childhood to suppress this will. You are taught to be humble, to be content, to respect limits set by others. You are told that ambition is greed, that desiring more is wrong, that seeking power is dangerous. And so, while the majority repress their deepest drive, a select few embrace it, cultivate it, and rise above everyone else. Nietzsche believed that the greatest figures in history, the conquerors, the innovators, the revolutionaries, were those who refused to suffocate their will to power. They did not wait for permission. They did not live by slave morality. They imposed their vision, even if it meant breaking every rule in their path. Consider Alexander the Great. He did not inherit the world. He took it. His will to power drove him across continents, shaping empires with his ambition. Napoleon, too, rose from obscurity, not by waiting for recognition, but by seizing opportunity after opportunity, reshaping the map of Europe. And in the modern age, Steve Jobs did not politely ask the world if it was ready for his ideas. He imposed them, and in doing so, redefined technology and culture. The illusion most people believe that life is about happiness, peace, or balance, Nietzsche saw as a lie. Comfort is not what drives us. Safety is not what fulfills us. Deep down, every human being feels the same restless hunger, to be more, to expand, to leave a mark on the world. And those who deny this hunger are the ones who remain trapped, invisible and forgotten. The will to power is not about cruelty for its own sake. It is about strength, growth, and self-overcoming. But it demands courage. It demands that you face the uncomfortable truth that life is not fair, that morality is not universal, and that waiting for recognition will get you nothing. For Nietzsche, the difference between those who command and those who obey is simple. One embraces the will to power and uses it consciously, while the other represses it and remains enslaved by the rules of others. And this leads to a brutal realization. Power is not given, it is not awarded, it is taken. If the will to power is the natural engine of life, why do so few people rise? Why do so many spend their lives obeying rules, waiting for recognition that never comes, and feeling guilty for even wanting more? Nietzsche's answer was simple but brutal. We are conditioned from birth to suppress our ambition. From your earliest days, you were told to be humble, to share, to not make too much noise, to be polite. If you stood out too much, you were told to tone it down. If you wanted more, you were called greedy. If you spoke with confidence, you were labeled arrogant. Schools reinforce this conditioning. Children are rewarded for obedience, not creativity. They are taught to sit still, follow instructions, and regurgitate information. The system doesn't train leaders, it trains followers. Those who question too much, those who demand more, are punished or silenced. Religion amplifies this control. For centuries, it has preached that humility is a virtue, that sacrifice is noble, that ambition is sin. The promise of a reward in the next life ensures that people accept mediocrity in this one. The meek shall inherit the earth is not encouragement, it is pacification. Even governments and corporations rely on this conditioning. They teach you that the world is fair, that success comes through hard work and loyalty, that patience will be rewarded. Why? Because it keeps you compliant. It keeps you working quietly while those in power exploit your labor and expand their own dominance. This is what Nietzsche meant by slave morality. It convinces you that wanting power is wrong, so you never challenge those who already have it. It tells you that being good means lowering yourself, while those at the top redefine the rules to keep you in place. And the result? Most people grow up feeling guilty for ambition. They suppress their hunger for greatness. They convince themselves that it's noble to be small, to be modest, to live quietly. They trade their will to power for approval, for comfort, for the illusion of safety. But deep down, the hunger never goes away. It's why so many people feel restless, frustrated, and unfulfilled, because a part of them knows they were meant for more. Yet the conditioning is so strong that they sabotage themselves before they even try. Nietzsche saw this as a disease of society, a world where people are trained to betray their own nature, a world where those who dare to rise are demonized as selfish or arrogant, while those who obey are celebrated as good, even as they remain powerless. And here is the bitter truth: this conditioning is not accidental. It exists because it serves the system. The more people believe in humility and submission, the fewer challenges the powerful have to face. It is not morality, it is strategy. So the question becomes, will you continue to live by the morality designed to keep you small? Or will you dare to unlearn the conditioning, to embrace the will to power that has been buried inside you since childhood? At this point, you might think Nietzsche's philosophy glorifies pure ruthlessness. Just grab what you want, crush whoever stands in your way, and never look back. But that would be a shallow reading. For Nietzsche, true power requires more than ambition or aggression. It requires mastery, not just over others but over yourself. Look closely at the downfall of many powerful figures, both in history and today. Their mistake was not a lack of strength, it was a lack of control. They let arrogance, rage, or blind ambition cloud their judgment. They confused power with impulsiveness. They reacted instead of strategizing. And in the game of power, losing control is fatal. Nietzsche understood that most people are predictable. They react to anger with anger, to fear with fear, to pressure with panic. But those who master themselves, who can stay calm while others collapse, gain an incredible advantage. Think of Julius Caesar. His power did not come only from his military victories, but from his ability to wait, calculate, and strike at the perfect moment. When his enemies attacked him politically, he didn't lash out blindly. He built alliances, strengthened his image, and only moved when he was certain the timing would crush his opponents completely. Or look at modern leaders and CEOs. The ones who dominate are rarely the ones who shout the loudest or react to every criticism. They are the ones who observe quietly, absorb information, and act with precision when others least expect it. Patience becomes a weapon. Silence becomes a strategy. Calmness becomes a shield. Nietzsche believed that this kind of emotional control separates the strong from the weak. The weak waste their energy fighting every battle, reacting to every insult, trying to prove themselves at every turn. The strong conserve their energy, ignore petty attacks, and channel their focus only into actions that truly matter. This is why Nietzsche saw self-mastery as the foundation of power. If you cannot control yourself, you cannot control anyone else. If you are easily provoked, you are easily manipulated. The one who can keep his head cool while others lose theirs holds the real advantage. In this sense, Nietzsche's lesson is deeply practical. He isn't just telling us to be ruthless, he's telling us to be disciplined, to master our impulses, to strike with intention, not emotion. Because in the long game of power, the winner is not the one who burns out in fury, it is the one who waits, observes, and strikes when the moment is perfect. So ask yourself, when pressure comes, do you act out of impulse, or do you act with strategy? Do you react like everyone else, or do you master yourself so completely that others cannot predict, provoke, or control you? Because in Nietzsche's eyes, the true mark of strength is not shouting louder than the crowd. It's standing silently while the crowd screams and still being the one everyone follows. If ruthlessness can make people rise to power, why do so many of history's greatest figures end up destroyed by the very force that made them strong? Nietzsche understood this paradox clearly. What elevates you can also destroy you if you lose control of it. Look at Julius Caesar. He dominated Rome with unmatched vision, military genius, and political cunning. He broke every rule of the Senate, used propaganda to win the loyalty of the masses, and positioned himself as a living legend. But his ambition knew no limits. His refusal to stop, to consolidate, to balance power created too many enemies. Eventually, the same Senate he once controlled turned on him, and he was stabbed to death, not by foreign invaders, but by his own allies, including Brutus, the man he once considered a son. His ruthlessness made him unstoppable, but it also blinded him to the danger of overreaching. The same pattern repeats with Napoleon. He rose from obscurity to dominate Europe, fueled by relentless ambition and brilliance on the battlefield. Yet he too did not know when to stop. Conquering wasn't enough. He wanted everything. When he invaded Russia, ignoring all warnings about the brutal winter and fierce resistance, his insatiable hunger led to catastrophic defeat. He was exiled, humiliated, and died far from the glory he craved. His genius carried him to unimaginable heights, but his ruthlessness blinded him to the limits of power. And it isn't just history, it's modern as well. In the corporate world, countless leaders who built empires fell victim to the same trap. Jeff Skilling of Enron created one of the most powerful companies in America by manipulating markets and projecting an untouchable image. But the same deception that made him powerful eventually destroyed him, leaving him disgraced and imprisoned. Elizabeth Holmes of Theranos promised to revolutionize medicine, but her relentless pursuit of power without restraint led her to fraud, collapse, and ruin. Nietzsche saw this as inevitable. Absolute power creates blindness. When people start believing they are untouchable, that the rules no longer apply to them, they stop seeing reality clearly. They underestimate opponents, ignore risks, and push past every natural limit. And when they finally realize their mistake, it is always too late. This is the trap of ruthlessness. It gets you to the top, but if it is not balanced with wisdom and restraint, it becomes the very reason for your downfall. Nietzsche's message is clear. Being ruthless can elevate you, but without self-control, patience, and awareness, power will eventually consume you. The strong may rise faster, but those who cannot balance their strength with wisdom rarely last long. So the real question is not whether you can seize power, but whether you can master it once it's yours.